and access to market. Kapatid, Angat, Lahat, or KALAP, is where job creation and opportunity make a lasting impact in our economy. MSMEs, as we all know, are the backbone of the economy. What's important is that we give farmers all three: mentorship, money, and market. We must elevate our farmers to become agripreneurs. The vision of KALAP is like a circle of prosperity, where the big companies, the big agri companies, and the government embrace the small farmers, provide them with resources and their fair share. That's important. As big brothers, we have to be conscious about giving the farmers their fair share. To help them scale up, and as they scale up, they will have access to capital. KALAP definitely will give access to all three. KALAP will help them become agripreneurs. I envision KALAP as a circle of prosperity where the big agribusiness companies and the government embrace the small farmers, provide them their fair share, help them scale up, and they will be able to access capital. And when government provides the enabling environment, the circle definitely can grow bigger, to include the Filipino consumer who can choose to buy quality, low-priced, and locally grown food. This virtuous cycle will fuel the circle of prosperity, creating more jobs and more opportunities, especially in the countryside. KALAP can work. With us today is Mr. Maman Layam of Palawan. He is a coconut farmer who benefited from the inclusive model of a pioneer big brother company, Lionheart, Christian Moller. He is 98 years old, a proud agripreneur. Mr. Layam, can I request you to be recognized and stand up? For 98 years old, Mr. Layam looks very healthy. Mr. Layam is not alone. He is with 50 Filipino farmers who are with us today. All of them uplifted by the big brother companies of KALAP. May I ask the farmers to please stand up? Can I request the farmers to please stand up? Thank you. These are the people that we must help. I know agriculture can be quite challenging with the weather that we have sometimes. With financing, as many of them relate to me, is a challenge because not many want to take the risk in agriculture. But sometimes we must take that risk. And I appeal to the banks to really start to lend these people, provided that they are guided by big brothers like who we have here today, to provide them the mentorship, the technology, and the market. And hopefully, the funding comes to play. Our task now is to encourage more big agri companies to become big brothers to farmers. That is the way forward that the Philippines can change the landscape in agriculture. Bulk of our poor micro-entrepreneurs belong to this sector. And if we want to change that landscape, us in big business, we have to do our part. There is no other way that it can happen. Of course, under the leadership of President Marcos, who has embraced the private sector, and I'd like to thank the President for doing so, trusting the private sector as one of your advisors, creating the Private Sector Advisory Council, has really changed many things. And it has actually encouraged all of us here in this room to help this administration succeed in fighting poverty. And we see that all over. And this opportunity to work with government in a way is a blessing. How much amount of wealth can we in big business create for ourselves? At a certain point in time, we have to share that. And I'm glad that many of you in this room, I see, join us in our caravans in mentoring many of our micro and small entrepreneurs here in Metro Manila, in the provinces. And just recently, Mr. President, we were in Baguio. And to my surprise, close to 600 mentees were waiting for us. It was a very tiring day because we had only about 50 mentors. But yet, I saw in every mentor the energy to mentee many of these micro entrepreneurs. Even I mentored about 15, 16 of them. But what really made me emotional is they waited long just to hear an advice from successful entrepreneurs. And sometimes that's all what's needed to give them hope and a direction on how their business can prosper. I see this all over. In Metro Manila, thousands would come. And I'd like to thank all our mentors in this room who spend their time on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, to join us in these caravans on 3M on Wheels. And I think under this administration, we should join this administration in really creating greater prosperity for all Filipinos. And I'm glad and I'm happy that our big brothers here today with us are the start, but should not be the end. There are many more big companies out there that can become big brothers to our farmers. And let's make our farmers agripreneurs, successful agripreneurs. Again, thanks to our mentors, thanks to our big brothers, and thank you, Mr. President, for always supporting our MSMEs uplift their lives. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joey Concepcion, Go Negosyo founder and Private Sector Advisory Council lead for jobs.
Definitely, our farmers have to be addressed. Agriculture is in the top in job generation. So if we elevate the lives of our MSMEs, then more jobs will be generated for our people in this country.
The agricultural sector is the cornerstone of the nation's economic development, and investing in its improvement ensures food security for all Filipinos. Responding to the need to empower our agripreneurs, Go Negosyo launches a new initiative that aims to foster the transformation of major agricultural commodities and industries, and promoting a conducive business environment that is both sustainable and inclusive. KALAP, Kapatid, Angat, Lahat, Agri program. Anchored on Go Negosyo's 3 M's of MSME development: access to mentorship, money, and market. The program aims to empower farmers and fisherfolks to be entrepreneurs and propel them to be significant drivers of economic growth, job creation, and human development. With a conglomerate of the country's top corporations as big brothers, mentoring agri-MSMEs and integrating them into their own value chains, creating a foundation for a sustainable business ecosystem. In collaboration with multiple government agencies, the initiative aims to support existing programs for MSMEs to improve key industries and sectors in the Philippines, further strengthening the country's economy.
We will harness the strengths of various sectors to ensure a more cohesive government approach in creating a more sustainable environment for our MSMEs and all our important stakeholders.
The private sector, the government, synergizing towards recovery, resilience, and sustainability of the agricultural sector.
Shared prosperity is not a dream, it is a must that we have to do. When you help people and make them successful, these same people that you will help to become successful will help others. So as we continue that circle of prosperity, then we will truly achieve an inclusive Philippines.
Inculcating a culture of entrepreneurship, innovation, and inclusivity among agripreneurs. Kapatid, Angat Lahat Agri Program.
Let's give a hand for that presentation. As mentioned a while ago by Sir Joey, to everybody in this room, let us make our fisher folks, our farmers, successful agripreneurs. And that can be achieved to Kapatid, Angat Lahat Agri Program or KALAP. And at this juncture, may we request Mr. Christian Moller, co-founder and chief executive officer of the Lionheart Farms Philippines Corporation, to present the working model for the Go Negosyo Kapatid Angat Lahat Agri Program.
Mr. President, thank you for inviting all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of agriculture, I am proud to be a farmer, but especially today, as all we farmers can witness how you are making agriculture a priority. For the past 7 years, I've lived on the front line of agriculture in southern Palawan. And today I would like to share with you my perspective on how we can move forward towards making the Philippines a leading agro-industrial nation and see farming become a desirable and sustainable way of life for generations to come. Next slide, please. Underinvestment and small farmers being left alone threatens not only food security at the national level, but also the meaningful existence of many families. The succession challenge is real. New business models and public-private alignment is needed, or it will get much worse. Food security has always been a challenge of planning and process to be productive and competitive to deliver to society. Today, we must face the reality of this underinvestment to bring forward the solutions. Just continuing to do the same will not bring us will not bring us the same. Doing the same will not just not bring the answers, right? As I said, next slide, please. As I said, we can't leave the farmers alone. We must find new ways that can deliver long-term sustainable and inclusive transformation. I learned a lot in Palawan. The Palawan tribe has 4 important principles. Tabang, helping each other. Bagi, sharing. Gantik, parity and exchange. And Ingasik, sympathy and compassion. It is with these founding principles that we have worked hard to achieve what has been done in the last years. And it's from these principles that we find strength to progress. Mr. President, next slide, please. you and your administration have laid out a clear plan. We have no time to waste. We must focus our resources. And I believe we share the view that neither government nor the private sector can do this alone. Collaboration is the only way. We must take on the most difficult task of implementing on the ground. Next slide, please. Let's be frank. Farming is hard work. It's not easy. The operating environment is extremely challenged, and all over we see resources wasted, and for the most part, today's traditional approaches are not investable for the private sector and deliver very little taxable economy back to the nation. Coconut can't replant fast enough. That's a reality. But for all sectors, plant material is needed for priority crops, infrastructure improvements, skills development, acceleration of research and adoption of technology, access to credit and investment is absolutely essential. Next slide. While food processing is mostly well capitalized, industrialized, and functioning within a normal business environment with access to the needed capital and access to markets, the necessary economies of scale. To modernize and future-proof farming, we must literally grab the bull by the horn, or as perhaps you would say in the Philippines, the carabao. New business models are needed. Next slide, please. Productivity improvements is the only way. I have witnessed over the last 7 to 9 years a lot of efforts towards value adding. And that has seemed to be the conclusion or the answer that many have jumped towards. But what I have myself experienced is that value adding is only a very temporary relief if you do not get to the underlying productivity challenge. So we have to find ways to improve income and output at the same time. Next slide. New markets and new income streams that can be unlocked by working in new ways, managing across the entire supply chain, or what we also call the value chain. What you see here on the slide is simply a simple expression of the complexity that agriculture and specifically that farmers are faced with. Obviously today there is not enough time to explain the exact details of this, but simply just to acknowledge, as I said in my opening, that leaving the farmers alone will just not get the job done. But the opportunity, if we can manage the raw material supply chain, if we can manage farming at scale, is to unlock revenue that is not accessed today from waste. In coconut, it's well known that there are many such opportunities. And even more so, climate action. We have led with the support of many, including US aid, on developing and basically proving the models to bring forward ways of generating income from climate action. I'm talking about natural climate solutions. And I'm not alone in this room. I know that Kenamir have done the same. And I know that consumers around the world are asking for this. So the demands on farmers, the demands on any company that wants to be in processing and deliver ultimately food products is that we must address this. And we cannot do that if we do not go all the way back to the soil, and we cannot get back to the soil without involving farmers. Slide number 9, please. So, in short, to manage this, new skills and technology is needed. We need to focus on the most difficult challenge, which is upskilling our people, bringing new qualities and new skills into agriculture. Some years ago, I coined the phrase to make agriculture sexy. What I meant by that was to make it attractive for the young people, for the next generations, to join into agriculture. One of the realities that met me when I first started working in agriculture in the Philippines was every time when I would meet a farmer, most of the time, if not always, they would say to me, "I just don't want my children to become a farmer." And that is, of course, unacceptable. In Nestle, actually, they coined the phrase, I believe, succession challenge in the context of agriculture. And I know that this is a top concern of the global food companies. So we must take this serious. Next slide, please. Of course, this is a daunting challenge, and we cannot simply continue to think that we can come up with the answers through subsidy or AYUDA programs. We need to reach to these and find and discover in each area of agriculture those new business models that can be delivered on all the 4 pillars of sustainability. And this can only be done in collaboration. We need all the stakeholders to get engaged and to take responsibility. As I said recently in another forum, agriculture, or rather farming, doesn't happen in this room. It's out there. It's on the ground. Relatively speaking, policy is easy. So I ask for your help, Mr. President, with your support, with your leadership, and that of your administration. Please give us the opportunity to partner, give us the opportunity to go to work, and let's get the job done. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well, Mr. Christian Muller, for that presentation of the working model for the Go Negosyo, Kapatid, Angat, Lahat Agri program. And at this point, may we request the President to witness the signing of the Memorandum of Agreements, which symbolize the strong partnership of the public and private sector to empower and scale up support for nation building through the value chain integration of our micro, small, and medium enterprises, farmers and fisher folks to become more productive, profitable, sustainable, and globally competitive. The Memorandum of Agreements will be signed by officials of the Department of Agriculture, Department of the Interior and Local Government, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Trade and Industry, with heads of Go Negosyo, the National Tobacco Authority, Philippine Coconut Authority, National Irrigation Administration, and National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and of course to the officials of various government agencies. Again, this symbolizes the strong partnership of the public and private sector. Thank you very much. May we now call on the attached agencies as well, their representatives, to sign as well in the Memorandum of Agreement. Would like to thank the officials of the attached agencies and again of our various government agencies, and again would like to thank you, Mr. President. To all our officials and representatives of government agencies, you may now take your seats. Thank you. Thank you very much again to our officials of the different government agencies and attached agencies. Once again, let's all give them a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. President. All right, once again, thank you very much. Now at this point, may we invite Department of Trade and Industry Secretary Alfredo Pascual to introduce our guest of honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Thank you, our Trade and Industry Secretary, Secretary Fred Pascual, the Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps who are with us this afternoon, Interior and Local Government Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr., the Go Negocio founder, Joey Concepcion III, fellow workers in government, our most important partners in the private sector, other distinguished guests, pong manalon ang ating mga magsasaka. Sa kanilang saka ay binubuhay nila ang lahat ng bawat Pilipino. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. My warmest welcome to all of you as we hold the ceremonial signing of the Memorandum of Agreement on the Kapatid, Angat, Lahat Agri program, or KALAP. I am very pleased to be in your company today as we take this time to confirm and express our collective earnestness in driving our nation forward. We know very well how MSMEs are crucial in the creation of new ideas, of jobs and wealth in the country. So it is only right that we recognize the power and the influence that this sector holds. We also recognize the role of big corporations in inviting MSMEs, spurring their growth and realizing their potential. Hence, I'm very happy to note the objective of the KALAP to integrate small farmers and agri-entrepreneurs into the value chain of large companies. This will enable farmers and MSME to become more productive, profitable, sustainable, and globally competitive. As such, I express my utmost gratitude to the Philippines Center of Entrepreneurship Go Negosyo Advocacy for your team's dedication to fostering more productivity, profit, and sustainability in our local markets. All the efforts you invest in our economy, particularly in the agricultural sector, are truly instrumental in bringing progress across our lands. And at this point, I think it is correct to take a few words and talk about Joey Concepcion, who has been heading this. He has been prominent recently in bringing together these partnerships, bringing together these synergies in our economy, especially to help our MSMEs and in the process strengthening our middle class. And it is only recently that we see him quite so prominent, but he has been doing this for most of his professional life. And I think he deserves a very robust round of applause for all the work that he has done. These partnerships that Go Negosyo has been fostering for many, many years are precisely the kind of partnerships that we are hoping to bring together. I have always said that in the difficulties that we are facing ahead, there is no sector of society that can manage the recovery by itself. And it cannot be done unless the different sectors of society are working together and trying to implement a plan with a common understanding of what is needed to be done, with a common understanding of what people need, without forgetting every part of that sector or that area of the economy. In agriculture, for example, sometimes we get caught up because productivity is so important. And we get caught up in all these grand plans about what is it that we need to do, what are the big projects that we need to implement so that our productivity increases. And sometimes what gets lost in that discussion is what is going to be the profit that goes back to the farmers. And in the end, this is really what it's all about. It is about a decent living for our farmers, so that our farmers can live by virtue of their hard work. That they can, besides just surviving, that they can hold out hope within themselves. That soon, one day, we can do more. We will buy more property. We will build a business. There is hope. And there is a chance for them to better themselves in their life, for their families, for their communities. That is what we are trying to do. And that's what Go Negosyo has been doing for a very long time. However, now, I am very, very happy to be able to say that the government is very supportive of all of these kinds of partnerships that we need to bring together. And perhaps these have been going on for a good long time, but perhaps with government support, we will be able to give it an added impetus so that we progress much more quickly and we progress much further. So this is my dream, as is it is, I am sure, all of your dreams. And I hope that little by little, we will achieve that dream. And one day, we will be able to say, our millennial farmers, as we have managed to bring down the farmers' age, our millennial farmers are using the best technologies with the complete support of a value chain that supports them and it supports their needs and is producing for our country and making our country safe, making our country secure, and making our country a viable player in the international market. One day, we will do this, but we need all of you, and we need everyone in our society to pull together to be able to do this. Thank you, and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. And now at this point, may we request the President please to kindly grant us a photo opportunity in 7 batches. Can we request please batch 1 to kindly stand by here on the right side of the stage. Thank you. Again, batch 1 please for a photo opportunity with Mr. President. Would also like to request batch 2 please to kindly prepare and stand by. Thank you. First up, we'll have batch 1. Batch 2 also, please prepare and stand by. Thank you. Batch 1, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, batch 1. You may now exit, please, on that side. Thank you very much. Next will be batch 2, please. Would also like to request batch 3 to kindly prepare and stand by as well. Thank you very much, Batch 2. We'll now proceed with Batch 3 this time. And also would like to request Batch 4 to kindly prepare and stand by. Thank you.